Um, Hi, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Thank you for the people who reached out to me on Facebook. That was really kind, and thanks to the people that left really kind comments, like suggestions and things like that. That's really nice. I've had a really hard week, an unusually hard week, in that I stopped an abduction. Father was going to abduct his child from the child's mother. He was going to try to take the child out of her car and put it into his van. And so I walk up and to this woman, and she's just frozen like a deer in headlights, and she has a strange look on her face. And I follow her eyes to where they're going, and I see this guy's parked in traffic, like he stopped in the middle of the road, and he gets out of his car and opens up the side door of the car and then looks over and sees us, and then gets back in his car. So he's still blocking the road, and I can't see what he's doing. So I don't move. I don't say anything to this woman, and she doesn't say anything to me. And we just stand there staring at this guy. So I think that he feels that she's telling me what's happening. She hasn't said a word. So what he thought was going to happen changed a little bit. And his idea was to start. He got out of his car and approached me, and he told me that he was a coworker, and that he was just here to get his visitation rights. And he tried to get around me, and I said, "Stop right there." I met him a distance. Oh, the lady said, "Rising got her car." She said, "He's been following me," and I instantly just went forward. That was all I needed to hear, to intercept him. And he starts talking about getting his visitation rights, and he's a co-worker of mine, and he works for my company. And I'm just like, no, you stay right there. And he tried to get around me, and so I block him, and I'm bundled up because it was fucking cold outside, and so I'm like wearing all these jackets, and I'm 6 feet tall, and I've got a fairly good wingspan, and he just saw that I was gonna grab him. There was no doubt in my mind I was going to do it. And I think a lot of times in conflict, your intentions get communicated really clearly without vocalizing them to whoever you're in conflict with. And I called for help, and help arrived. He talked the entire time, and I hadn't said a word other than, you stay right there. And then when I had backup, I said, "Sir," and he paused for a moment. I'm like, "Do you want me to call the police for you?" He's like, "No, I'm just here. I'm sorry." I'm like, "Sir, do you want the police?" And he realized where things were going. I'm like, right now we have security coming, and in a moment we'll call the police if you want. Do you want the police involved? And that's what turned him around, and he headed back. And then so I went to the woman. I'm like, "Do you want the police involved?" And she said a bunch of stuff that basically no. And so we watched this guy, and when he was out of sight, she left. She refused all help. And so I was traumatized by this. I went straight home, and I took that anxiety medication that basically gave me like 14 hours sleep. It's bad stuff. But I cried, and then I went to work the next day, and some people said, "Hey, you handled that really well." And this one person shook my hand, and I'm like, "What's this for?" And he's like, "Well, you saved that woman's child." like you don't know what could have happened, like was the idea to snatch the child through the window, throw her into the back, slam the door, and then jump in the car and peel off? Because he wasn't gonna like, let's get you into the child care, let's get you into the seat, let's strap you in. Who knows what might have happened. And I hadn't thought about that. I just like I was so my circuits were so blown that I couldn't even think about it. And then another person said, can you tell me that story again? A different person that hadn't heard the story. So I told him the story. And he says, it's like, you saved that woman and that child. Like whatever was going to happen, no matter what happened, was going to be really traumatic for both of them. And you saved them both that trauma. And suddenly I realized, like, I had a regular reaction to a really awful event. And like I said in my last video, like there's like a lineup of trauma that of different things that have happened in my life that I've never fully processed, and now I'm still processing it, and I'm not fixed. And then so this thing hit, and I got overwhelmed because there wasn't room to process it. And then like processing it that way really helped me. Like I was thinking that I might not make it through that day, the day after, and I did, and I made it through the next day as well. Like, bounced back when earlier, like, really any time January previous, I don't think I could have. I think that would have taken me out for an entire week. So yeah, it was awful, but it really helped me when people said it would have been worse if you hadn't been there. And someone else said, like, weird things happen to you, Earl, and they're like, it's that your reaction, the way you react to things, is so different from what people expect that those weird things seem to get diffused faster than normal. Which I've thought about that before. Like, I read a long time ago a book, I think it was called may have this wrong, the Philistine Prophecy. I may have this wrong. It may even be a different book. But in it was that people have a dialogue or a script or a role in their mind an awful lot. Like to think of like, I am this person, I'm in charge, or I'm good because I do this. Like they have this idea and role. And then when they say something to somebody, they already have planned out what they think that person's going to respond, how they're going to respond. And the idea being, then if you fall into that, then you will never be in the present and you will never live in reality. You're in a facade, like there's what's happening and how you respond to it, and then some kind of middle ground for perception. And I try to have it be like, right there in my heart. I try. And so when someone says something, I don't think of like, what should I say about this? I think about, what is this person saying? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to accomplish? And then after I thought about it, then I respond. And a lot of times the crazy shit that happens, I'd like in some way, I'm not taking it personal. I know I get emotionally overwhelmed, especially now, but in some way it feels like it's happening. If my mind and spirit was the inside of a house, and what takes place when I'm at work, let's say, is almost like the street in front of my house. I'm not responsible for people breaking the laws and people, I'm responsible for, like, I have a contract with humanity. If I see you've fallen in a river, I'm going to throw you a rope. If I see your house burning down, I'm going to be there with a hose or a bucket of water. Like, I have a contract with humanity to do what I think is best. But I also have like the idea that, like, as you get closer to my, like, in my life or in my mind, like there's that wall. There's like, is this person like a good friend of mine? Then that changes everything. if that makes sense. Like then it feels personal. Like if I knew that man or knew that woman, I would have had personal feelings about it. But instead, I had a feeling that this is my duty to any mother or any child, or really even for the father. He could have got arrested. You know, anything could happen. Especially you get the police involved, like anything could happen. So anyway, that happens. So it's good to see you. Talk to you later.